Grand Risings, it's just about morning still, not quite midday, and I've got the pleasure of revisiting Wistman's Wood. So I'm just walking along the path here with these lovely stoned walls and hawthorn in abundance like I've never seen before. Wow, look at it. And the yellows and the lovely cool breeze of autumn. It's so autumnal. And I just want to talk a little bit about today about the seasons and how some resonate more with us than others. Rora, don't pull me. As an HSP, which I've, talked about in previous videos, summer can feel very intense. The heat, the colour, the sunshine, and also it feels like it's a kind of an extrovert season, if you know what I mean. Everybody's out and about doing stuff. Whereas autumn, it seems like a naturally poetic season where, we slow down, things are cooling down, and we get the fruits of our labours. The berries, the buds, the haws, they're all out on the hedgerow. And I'm just looking out at this hillside now. I'll just show you a video of it. And, the russet yellows and oranges, they're really soothing for the soul. It's a time when the mushrooms are popping out of the ground, that there's more rain, and, it's about going inwards, isn't it? It's about finding our inner resources, our inner treasures. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting over the last few days, and it's been a year since I started the petition for the Stop World Heritage in Glastonbury, and it's developed into a movement really now, which I'm really proud of everybody, for all the participants, whether they went to a rally, signed the petition, spread word about it, came to a meeting, helped post the flyers. But it seems like a bit of a landmark a year, and we nearly have 4,000 signatures. If it goes to 5,000, it goes to the council. So I think it is it's a beautiful time of year. And the berries, the hawthorn berries this year have just been phenomenal. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've never seen so many hawthorn berries on trees before. And it just reminds us of the abundance that there exists in nature. Such great abundance. I'm just approaching a hawthorn berry bush now. So we're going to be going to these ancient woods today, and I went to a lovely exhibition yesterday in Totnes. There was a lady who really inspired me, and what she did was she moved from London to Connemara. She was a painter, and she said that her marriage was kind of over, but she literally made that move to the west coast of Ireland, where the Atlantic Ocean is, with the turquoise sea and the white sands. I've only ever been there once, and it's one of the most beautiful, wild, open panoramas, and it really did call me, actually. And apparently quite a lot of artists do live there, and I am feeling quite a yearning, actually, to be closer to the sea, to be closer to wild nature. So I feel a little bit torn, because obviously I've taken up the responsibility of a shop. But what I'm thinking is perhaps 3 days a week I will still go off on my adventures around the country, or, come here more frequently. Because I think life has got to be a balance of outward and inward, hasn't it? If we're outward all the time, we just become depleted. And especially if you're an HSP, it can be absolutely exhausting being around other people's energies and all of that. And I've been through my fair share of challenges, shall we say, the last few months. But I guess all of us are constantly going through challenges, and we're constantly changing from the caterpillar into the butterfly. And I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but but if life calls you to be somewhere or do something, you don't have to justify it to anybody, really. And you know, we have it. It's okay to change our minds at any point, to follow our intuition. And you know, sometimes I haven't always made the wisest decisions in relationships or financially, and you know, it's good to look at that and adjust that, and to perhaps tackle things slightly differently. I have been making bridges towards my family lately. I feel a little bit like the outsider, and perhaps that's something that I've also co-created. So I'm reaching out to my brothers, and I'm reaching out to my family and telling them how much I love them, because you know, it's good to act as if, you know, what happens if I wasn't here tomorrow? What would I be doing today? A little robin just crossed over in front of us there. And they say when you see a robin, it is a little reminder from the spirit world that someone is with you. And we're really close to the robin now. I'll see if I can just quickly film the robin, but the robin's not flinching at all, just sitting on the twig. It's beautiful. Yeah, unfortunately the robin flew off because a 4x4 truck came past. Oh dear, spoilt the moment, interrupted the moment. But it is just really nice to be in a very open expanse here, and you know, clear the head space. You know, I was talking about clearing our minds on the beach that I was walking on last time I came down this way, but I also feel very, very drawn to the sparseness of Dartmoor. It's so open, it's so wild here, and it is just very poetic, very lovely. You can just see all the sheep on the hill over there, and you know, the colours, like I say, are just absolutely, they just soothe the soul and make the heart sing as well. Some of you may have noticed I haven't been as proactive making videos recently, and I think it's always necessary for people to have little breaks, changes, you know, get breathers. But I've also been feeling a bit like going into complete hermit mode, and you know, it feels like there's a lot of shouting, there's a lot of voices in the world. And it's quite nice to come back to a place of quiet. You know, the political wranglings going on, the polarity existing, the inversions that are happening. I mean, it was just crazy on our Protect Avalon group. We had a woman who's standing as a Conservative MP wanting to promote herself on there, saying she's the only councillor that is against the World Heritage. And it's just unbelievable how opportunist people can be. And so yeah, I am thinking about slowing my life down, simplifying my life, because it does definitely feel that the sense of time you get in Glastonbury, it's a very, shall we say, liminal space, Glastonbury. It is a sacred place. We live in a sacred temple there, and it's not always an easy place to navigate at all. So it draws many people, many needy people too, people with heartbreak, people with problems, and they all seem to kind of come together there. So there's a part of me feels quite exhausted, and I'm really happy that other people are coming forward and speaking out against the WHS madness that's ensuing in Glastonbury. But I am feeling more and more drawn to be in a wilder place, living in a wilder place where I can swim in the river, swim in the sea, you know, on a daily basis, and, you know, just wind my life down, really. I guess semi-retire, as it were, you know. Sometimes I really do battle with being a bit hyperactive, trying to do this, trying to do that, and it just gets a bit much sometimes. So I'm kind of just sitting here thinking, what would happen if the ego just kind of melted or just died instantaneously? What would we become? Would we become more of, you know, the tour over there, the grasses, the gorse, the flowers? Would we just melt and become a part of it all, which is where we came from? You know, we're not separate, we're not individual entities, are we? But our egos do keep us in that zone, don't they? I think having a dog helps me check in with, you know, my ego, because, you know, I'm having to kind of like serve her, really, you know, cook her the best breakfast, think about her when I'm going out for a walk, and that helps my ego. But I'm not saying I don't have an ego, because of course I've got an ego, but I think it's all this kind of inflated ego stuff, all this narcissistic ego stuff, and all the games that are played with that. And but at the same time, you know, ego, myself, me, myself, I, you know, that's part of who we are. Part of what we identify with is the ego identity, isn't it? Just bumped into a lovely lady, and she had a big dog with her, and she was just telling me that Wistman's Wood has got wild cows, well, cows roaming wild inside it. So yeah, that sounds quite an interesting prospect, doesn't it? And one of the things, we read the book The Alchemist recently, in the Consortium of Misfits book club, and one of the things that really came out of that book for me is the fact that you get told the things you need to know, and that the world is full of omens and messages. And I've got to say, I'm becoming more alert to those, more responsive to those, because it seems like it isn't just coincidence, those people we meet or the messages we get. So I'll give you an example. So last Sunday, no, the Sunday before last, it was my poetry event, and I had no clue that Brian Patton had passed away. And a friend of mine, Phil, had come over to do the garden. Had no real idea that he knew about Brian Patton or anything like that. And he actually told me, you know, Brian Patton has passed away. So yeah, we get the messages. We hear the things that we're supposed to hear. It's an interesting world we live in, isn't it? So we're just approaching Wistman's Wood now. So it's, like I said, it's an ancient woodland of stunted oak trees. There are thousands of different names and varieties of oak tree. And it's quite an exceptional place because they kind of grow out of these mossy rocks. So yeah, it's a really, really magical place. So I'm in the woods now, and yeah, all the rocks are covered in moss. The oaks are covered in tree ferns, and I can see all the leaves are starting to turn. And round the edges, the bracken there, and the bare hill on the other side. And yeah, you do feel encased, encapsulated into this kind of little magical bubble here. And there are quite a few visitors here today, but it still doesn't actually take away from the magic. You know, you get these rocks jutting out. And, you know, for animists and pagans, or, you know, whatever your belief system, you know, you can't deny that in a place like this that magic feels all around. Magic feels omnipotent. It really is quite a magnificent place. Yeah, the moss is like velvet. It really is. And it's been a long while since I've been here, but it's no less magical than it's ever been here. It's probably more magical to me, you know. Wow, spectacular. So it used to be when you came to Wistman's Wood that you often just wouldn't even see a soul here. But there seems to be quite a lot of human beings here, and human beings saying very loudly, do not enter the wood, you know, it's a delicate habitat and things like this. But we're part of this wood, we're part of nature. Even the cow over there mooching, we're part of all of this, so there's no way I'm not coming into the wood. I've, you know, to come this far and not to come and immerse myself in the magic. Yeah, just walking back from Wistman's Wood, and wow, it was so beautiful, especially with the changing lights and the dappled shade and everything. Pity there were more people than I remembered being there, but I think that is the case for lots of places these days. But yeah, thanks for watching. Amanda ambling out in the wilds of Devon today. Haven't come across any piskies, but yeah. So tell your friends about my channel, tell them how wicked it is, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.